Ladies and gentlemen, today we have our very first guest on the podcast. A man born and raised in Southern California, took a bet on himself, went out, played in Celtic, came back to the U.S. on what I would say the better coast, the East Coast, representing the greatest city in the world of New York, living and playing in the best state in the country of New Jersey. And just recently, not only became Eastern Conference champion, but had a man of the match performance to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam Harper. Cam, how we feeling?
I'm good, man. Most of the things you said were right. You know, I think I'm starting to agree on the East Coast is better than the West Coast statement.
There we
I'm
go.
starting to join the bandwagon.
East Coast, Beast Coast, man. I mean, the food, the weather. I mean, you're in nice weather right now. We can see you're out there in Cali. How you doing, bro? Off season? Off to a good start?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still a little hurt. Well, very hurt from the game 4 or 5 days ago. It's definitely been dwelling on my mind a lot. But the vitamin D is helping a little bit. Being around my family is also helping a little bit. But, you know, it was a crazy year. It was a long season. And so now a few weeks off and then right back into it soon.
That's the crazy part, too, man. You make it so far that, like, the off season, you guys are back to work in what, like a month and a half out in Coachella?
Probably around, we get around maybe 4.5, 5 weeks off just to kind of refresh the mind and the body. It's definitely needed. But I'm really looking forward to next year, especially already, because, you know, I think this is something to build on. You know, I think we've definitely learned a lot about ourselves these last 6 weeks especially. And so got to bet on ourselves again next year, you know?
Hell yeah. How about physically? How you doing physically? I know long season, grueling season, a lot of injuries for the Red Bulls this year. How you doing physically? You all right?
Yeah, physically I feel good. You know, started the season off trying to recover from a broken foot. And so I had, you know, I was back for around the second game of the season. So, you know, I still had the full season. That was the first few weeks of the preseason I missed. But the whole season was long. It was grueling. No injuries to say I have, but overall the body is definitely taking the hit this year. But yeah, this is what we have the next 5 weeks off to do, is to recover the minds and the body for, you know, another long grueling season. That's just how it is. It's part of the job. It's what you got to do. You got to take care of yourself during the season, after the season. So it's just all a part of it.
Yeah, hell yeah. You out there for the rest of the off season? You coming back to Jersey? What's your plan?
The plan is probably to stay local for the most part. Maybe go to Vegas with some of my buddies. Maybe take another trip. Yeah, maybe take another trip after that, maybe with the family or something like that. So there's no plan so far. Maybe cruise or something. But for the most part, it's so short and it's so last minute notice. You know, because we went so far. You know, it's hard to book anything that's not going to cost a fortune. So I think it's just more so stay local, enjoy the sun, enjoy the family time, the dogs and stuff. So yeah, it's simple, nothing too much. Some of the other guys will probably have a more lavish off season, but I'm probably going to be a little bit more low key.
I heard Lewis is out in DR, huh? Having the time of his life.
Yeah, he's always in his time off. He's always going to some sort of beach or something. He doesn't have the the privilege to live somewhere that's already nice weather. But I mean, DR is not a bad place to go. I think probably Punta Cana or whatever. He's never he likes to live a lavish, you know, he likes the lavish vacations.
Deservingly
There's
so.
nothing wrong with
so.
it. It's a nice place to go.
Yeah, all of you guys, man. No matter where you are, bro, you guys 100% deserve the off season. You guys 100% deserve it. Here's my question though, as an East Coast guy, right?
Yep, that's right.
How do you guys have, like, how does it even feel like Christmas when it's 60 degrees, 70?
Yeah.
I can't get past that.
That's my biggest problem, especially because after the game, I had around 1 day in New York before I moved to come back here, and wound up going into the city, and it was beautiful. Like the Christmas time, Christmas period. Went to Rockefeller, went, you know, around Times Square. Had like a nice hot chocolate in my hand for most of the night. And just, you know, there's something
a cozy
nice about,
feeling. It's a
the cozy feeling. There's something nice about a Christmas where you're able to fully wrap up and like in 3-4 layers. Put 2 pairs of socks on.
100%.
There's something definitely nice about that. I think being in New Jersey the last few years around that November period, not quite Christmas, but kind of around the colder period, definitely made me think that maybe being in the sun around the festive time is just not the move.
Dude, you don't know this feeling, but when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
And like a big snowstorm was coming the next day, and like we'd be waiting for the school to call and be like, "There's no school tomorrow. It's a snow day." Yeah.
That never used to happen. For the most part, I think there was a few times here where there would be like rainstorms, like kind of like rainstorms where it would flood pretty bad, and they would have like they would either cancel school, or it would be like one of those, you stay in your class all day and the teacher would turn on the movies and all the kids.
Yeah. When they rolled that TV in, bro, best days, man.
You get your tiny pizza slice and your cup of Coke. And you'd watch the movies, or I'd stay home and be able to, when they called off school and I was able to just stay with my buddies, and like I knew I had like a day of Xbox with my buddies.
Oh, those were the days, man.
I assume that's kind of what it's similar to, or you go outside with your buddies and you're kicking the ball about or whatever.
Yeah, those were the times. But listen, well, quick question: have you been to the Jersey Shore? I know you said beach, obviously.
Yeah,
LA.
I've been a few times actually in the last year or so. It's a long drive. That's my only problem is, I'm in like a Hoboken, so I wish instead of it being like an hour and a half, 50 minutes. Like 50 minutes is not too
happy
bad.
meeting there.
The drive is just so long that you got to wake up really early, get down there early, and then you stay there the whole day. You have to miss the 4 or 5 p.m. traffic. So you're there the whole day, right? It's nice. I just wish it was a little closer. And
the drive back is always just
the drive back.
The way there, you're excited. You got your coffee. You're ready. On the way back, you're like, I just need a nap.
Sometimes I'm there. I'm a pale guy, so I'm at the beach.
Oh yeah, I get that.
I'm putting on a lot of sun cream. Starts to kind of get my eye starts to hurt a little bit, and I'm driving and I'm having to blink 24/7 because I'm trying to get the sand and the sun cream out my eye. It's pale guy problems.
Nah, I'm pretty pale too. What I've learned is, first time you just got to take that first little sunburn. You gotta get off. You gotta shed the first one, and then you're fine, bro.
And then you're chilling. Yeah, absolutely.
Good living. All right, so real quick, I know we're kind of just shooting it around, but I wanna, for people who don't really know your whole journey, getting to the Red Bulls, all of that. So, born and raised in SoCal, like we said, age 1 to 3. For your dad's work, you guys went back to Scotland, right?
I was just kind of back and forth for the most part.
Oh, okay.
Split my time.
Do you have any like memories from there or no? From 1 to 3?
Very young, but I would remember my mom, taking my older brother to school, and me and my mom would go to this bakery in the UK that I love called Greg's, and I'd have a few sausage rolls every single day. My mom would always take me. It was the highlight of my 1 to 3 years. I don't remember much, but I remember that as my highlight.
Sausage rolls from Greg's.
Sausage rolls from Greg's. Yeah, that was my little niche.
Do you have a lot of family out in Scotland?
Yeah, everyone lives there. So I have my immediate family, my brother, sister, my mom and dad who live here. They moved here for work 20 odd years ago. But all my cousins, aunts, uncles are in Scotland, and I have very few aunts and uncles in Montreal.
Nice.
Canada.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Like immediate family's out here, mom, dad, brother, and I have one uncle, aunt, and then the cousins, and then the rest are all back in Portugal.
I would have guessed from the name. I was going to say that João gives me I was going to say I would have guessed Portuguese or Brazilian.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the two, right?
Yeah.
It's always the worst. Like even going back to school days, you don't even want to know what I get called, bro. João, Joao, like all the names.
J-Lo.
I remember going to Starbucks for the first time, and they asked me for my name, and I didn't know that they write it on the cup. And they were like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "João." I thought they were just trying to match it to the debit card.
J-O-W.
They wrote Z-H something. Every time I go to Starbucks, I'm just like John, and I feel like the most basic guy in the world.
Yeah, you're just a normal white dude at that point.
I'm like either John or Joe. Or Joe. Just go with one or the other.
That's funny.
But yeah, you then came back here. you said favorite moments from your childhood in Scotland was those sausage rolls. Any like favorite moment growing up in Cali? What was it like growing up in Cali? I know we
Yeah, I
mentioned
had
the
a
beach a lot.
most of the time it was the whole year. Me and my brother would play because that's the I would say the best part as a younger guy growing up here is you've got nice weather 24/7. You have very few days where you can't go outside and have a great day at the park or
Right.
so usually it would a lot of my memories were me and my brother playing together and we were always pretty good for our age, so we won quite a lot of trophies, and so a lot of finals that we'd play in together, and we'd win, and we'd have good moments sharing that. And then usually my summers I spent with I had a few buddies, my buddy Shay, Yoshi. They're just school buddies. I would spend most summers at the beach,
Nice.
and it really allowed for it was nice. I got the nice kind of American SoCal environment to live in, but then also I was really big into my football because of my parents. That like British household and British lifestyle that we lived. So I got a little bit of the best of both worlds, where I was able to really lock in and know that I had an end goal of trying to be a fresh soccer player. Even since I was 6, 7 years old, and I had the environment where it was sunny most of the time, and I could train a lot. And there's some good players in SoCal. I think it doesn't really get the recognition for
Right.
LA. I see LA kind of as like the West Coast New York in terms of the way it kind of breeds like street ballers, and there's a lot of really good technical guys who are playing. So yeah, I think for the most part, younger childhood was just playing with my buddies, playing in big tournaments with my brother, and going to the beach.
Any surfing or like any other sports?
No, I was
or
not
just...
really big into surfing. I remember, funny enough, in like 8th grade, my big thing was my I saved up to buy a GoPro. It was like $200. I saved up for a few months to get it. And me and my buddy would take it down to the beach, or we would actually like hook it up onto a goalpost, and we'd film like sorry, that's my dog shouting,
You're good, bro.
barking. So we'd attach to the goalpost and like get clips of us like shooting or doing 1v1s or something stupid.
No way,
that.
we got Cam Harper vlogs from back in the day. Where are these files? We gotta get them out there.
Well, those shooting videos, they're hidden. They're hidden. Maybe one day they'll come out. And
it's where it all started.
It's where it all started. Yeah, or just taking down to the beach and just filming like the waves or something. That's simple. Awesome. Very simple, but it was really enjoyable.
But like you said, growing up in a Scottish household, your dad big Rangers fan, right?
No, so yeah. I thought you because one of them did. My mom did come from a Rangers family, so I thought.
Oh,
that's
really?
what you were getting at. Yeah, my mom.
Oh, I didn't even actually know that.
No, that's funny. Yeah, yes, no. My dad's a big Catholic Celtic family, and my mom came from more of a Protestant Rangers family. So there was, someone had to give, and it was my mom who ended up having to give. She wasn't really big into it when she was younger, but she was born into a Rangers family. So she was the one who had to give up the blue, and so she became a Celt. And so our family has definitely been massive Celtic supporters. It's funny, actually, I forgot. I have a photo of me, my dad, my brother, and my uncle Pat. We used to go to the Celtic conventions every 2 years in Las Vegas. We'd drive 4 or 5 hours, and they used to have yeah. So I went when I was like 6, 8, 10. I probably went like 3 or 4 times. And we have photos of like a bunch of the Celtic legends that would show up because there would be thousands of people there. Sometimes people from the UK, and so yeah, we're a big, massive Celtic family. So it's kind of funny, and in hindsight, when I look back to it, how I even ended up there was a miracle and a blessing. But yeah,
we're gonna get into that story. We're gonna get into that story here in a little bit too. Yeah. But it's kind of funny because it's the same thing with me. Because my dad is a big Benfica fan always, and my mom's side of the family is all Sporting.
Cut out at your dad's side of your family is Benfica. You said, oh, your mom's side. Yeah, your dad's side.
No, dad's Benfica. Mom is Sporting. So my mom also had to give. Big Benfica guy over here. And yeah, my dad used to take me, same thing as your dad. Anytime like Benfica came and played friendlies out here, at RBA, I saw them play Juve, or now I guess Sports Illustrated Stadium. We'll talk about that later as well.
Okay. Gonna take some getting used to that one.
Yeah, right. I think it's gonna stick to RBA with the fans. I'm not calling it CIS. I'm definitely not calling it CIS. If anything, SI. But yeah, pictures with Nuno Gomes, Simão Sabrosa. So yeah, super cool. And then yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into that story because I think it's actually one of the cooler stories. Kind of just happenstance how you ended up at Celtic. I've heard the story because I listened to a couple of your podcasts getting ready for this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell the story for anybody who might not know.
Yeah, it's honestly like they always say like you want to make it professional. You have like a little bit of luck. You can have the skill, but sometimes guys don't have that luck to get found. So it was December of 2016. I got called into my first ever national team camp, and it was like a kind of like a pre-training camp, getting ready to the team. I think was going to like Montevideo in Uruguay for some friendlies, and so we played in Florida. We played a few games. It was just like my first camp, some of the guys' first camp, and my dad decided that he wanted to come out because it was the first time that I'd represented the U.S., even if it was just in some kind of in-country friendlies. It was the first time I'd represent them, and my dad was like, "This is a big achievement. I want to come and see some of the games."
100%.
He also wanted to kind of come and see like what are the level of the guys at this level. He was just also quite curious, and so I'm playing some of the games, and then I guess the halftime of one of the games, and my dad's obviously at the sideline watching it, and he just sees a guy in a Celtic top and thinks, "Oh, I'm just gonna this is some guy to talk to." Just he just happens to have Celtic top. There was no actually him thinking, "Oh, what can come of this?" It was just, wow, a guy of Celtic top. Bored at halftime. Let's go talk to him. Ends up being a guy who has a son who at like a Celtic affiliate, and my dad's like, "Oh, that's cool. How did that start up?" And it was just like a little conversation they had, and then I think he was like, "Oh, like, is there anyone at Celtic who comes and visits the team? Like, is there any trainers who will come and visit? Like, what's the how big is the connection?" He's like, "Well, yeah, there's a guy who is quite big in connecting them. His name is Johnny Burns." And my dad ended up getting his number. We get in contact, and we didn't realize who it was at the time, but Johnny Burns, son of his dad was Tommy Burns, who ex Celtic manager. Come on, arguably one of I guess they don't like me.
It might be me. It might be me. They're definitely more used to you than my voice.
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to put him inside? I'll put him inside real quick.
Yeah, you can put him inside, or it's fine.
Yeah, and so his dad, Tommy Burns, ex-Celtic manager, player, very, very good player. And so my dad gets Johnny's number, and we don't realize who it was at the time. And my dad contacts him and says, "Hey, blah blah, this is my son. We got someone's number. He was at the national team camp. And is there any way he'd be able to talk to you about maybe seeing if there's any connection there or something like that?" And then Johnny responds in email and says, "Yeah, we're always interested in trying to bring talents to the youth academy. So, but I've not seen him play, so maybe you can bring him out to Florida for a week and a half, and we can so I can just kind of get a gist of the level he's at, if I think he's ready for it." So I went out to Florida for a week and a half, or it was around a weekend, and trained with the Florida Celtic team, and did really well. He liked me. I think he also kind of wanted to see what my character was like, how if I had that mindset, and I always think I always did. So I think that stood out to him. He said, "Yeah, we can get you a trial." So this happened, I think, in like the April of 2017, in which I ended up getting the trial, and then he ended up getting me the trial in the September in Scotland. So went up to Lennox Town, and it was crazy. The first day there, I was like almost in like disbelief. I couldn't believe we drove up to the training facility, and I seen like the big Lennox Town building with the Celtic, the Celtic logo on it, and I was like almost like, what am I doing right now? How am I here? Like,
how did I end up?
How did I end up here? How did I this doesn't make any sense? And I walked into the building, and I was shit myself, honestly. I was so nervous.
Right.
I was only just a 15-year-old boy at the time, and I had this opportunity of a lifetime to play for my my boyhood team, my family's boyhood team. And so I ended up going for around a week and a half. Played well. They wanted me back out in the November, so I came back out 2 months later. I was there for my birthday, actually. Celebrated my 16th birthday there. Yeah, it would have been my 16th birthday. celebrate my 16th birthday there. Played another friendly, done well, and they wanted to sign me in January. But my mom wanted me to finish school, so
Right.
it wasn't until the end of that school year in the June or the July, should I say, that went out for a few months, and then they ended up signing me after they were able to get the full like FIFA registration and all that. And then I was officially a part of Celtic. I was a part of the club, and it was
That's
crazy.
awesome.
I couldn't believe it. It was a crazy story. It was insane.
I mean, I can't even imagine that for you. Obviously, like you said, like showing up there, seeing that Celtic and being like, "How
Yeah,
would I get here for you?"
imagine you being a Benfica fan and just seeing
Dude.
you playing, and next thing you know, a few months later, you're at Benfica's training ground and you're walking around and you're seeing all the Benfica guys around you, the first team guys, because the facility is all the same facility. The first team
Right.
facility is all the same facility for the academy, and except for the really younger academy. But where I was at, Lennoxtown was where the first team were, and I was seeing my idols that grew up watching and idolizing and seeing them. Like, it made it real, because I was like, wow, these aren't just like some robots playing on the screen. These guys are real people. I was like, I'm actually
Right,
seeing
like I'm here.
connected.
Yeah. I was actually supposed to go to Benfica, but like this pinky, I jammed it. From, basketball.
I'm surprised
back in third grade.
I wasn't surprised it wasn't like a catastrophic knee injury. I feel like that's
Nah, it was like the pinky. Steve,
Yeah.
we were
You need
playing pickup basketball.
Yeah.
It would have worked,
That's-
but
Is
now we're
that's a
here
little bit
talking to
luck.
Cam Harp.
Yeah, that's the
It's all worth
unluckiness,
And I can't even imagine that for your dad too. Like going from guys wearing a Celtic kit that he's one of mine. Going to talk to
Yeah.
him. Next thing you know, his son's literally playing for a
Yeah.
Celtic. That is just
It was-
unreal.
It was crazy.
And at the time, you were committed to UCLA, right? To play collegiate, and part of you could say it's luck. It was a little bit of luck, but part of you also, you had to make that sacrifice. You had to. You could have just stayed at UCLA, stayed here, taken the quote unquote easier route, but you bet on yourself. You went out there.
Yep. It was
just
it was the decision that was tough for me personally. I had to have a lot of conversation with my mom and my dad, because I think they were the ones with more sense. Because I was like, maybe I want to stay at UCLA. Life here is easy. It's nice. I can go to college, get my degree, and then I was just thinking, I'll go MLS after, or I'll get drafted, and I'll sign for a team after that. And so my mom was a bit more, like I said, speaking some sense. These is an opportunity of a lifetime. So the original plan was to go to Celtic for a year, accept a wage where I really wasn't getting a lot, only like money for my necessities. I think there's like a general lifestyle payments you can have, where you only get enough money to for your general necessities, like I said. And so that left the college route open for the first year. And then I end up, at the end of my first year, contacting UCLA and saying, I really appreciate the opportunity that you guys, offered me and gave me to come here, but I'm going to be staying at Celtic just due to, I think my potential is higher here. And so, I didn't end up going to UCLA. It was a risk at the time, giving up a big scholarship for a big school, but it's these risks that, I can go back to college whenever. These aren't
100%.
opportunities that you get whenever. They don't just come around every day. So this was an opportunity. I decided it was worth pursuing.
Got to take those opportunities. That was after your junior year, right? So your senior year you didn't do, or you?
Senior year, So senior year I did online. My mom was very adamant on me finishing schooling, just to leave the option to go to college. So they had a very strong opinion of me finishing. That's why ultimately I waited till the end of my junior year, was so that there was no backlash from the school saying that I was leaving and not able to get credits.
And who are you living with out there? Is it like do all like the youth team like live together in a dorm type of thing, or were you with? So
some of the foreign boys had like digs that they could stay at, like family digs, like some houses. But me and my family, we'd had an apartment there for like 20 years. It was right across the street from my aunt. So my mom, so my sister was there doing university at the time. She was at Glasgow County University, so she'd been there for a few years already. And so my mom decided to move out with me. So it was me, my sister, and my mom. And it was like obviously a huge change for me and my mom. But luckily we had, my mom's sister. Our aunt was across the street, a 10-second walk. I had all my cousins there, so I did have a big support system from a lot of the family.
That's awesome.
But it was a big move.
You said it's a big move. I put right here, I want to take you back to a moment. You're about to leave permanently. You're on that flight at LAX. What is going through young Cam's mind with all the uncertainty, all of that? You're on the plane at LAX. You're going to Scotland. Take me back to that moment. Just for you personally, like outside of soccer, just for Cam.
I thought you were doing like a Miley Cyrus thing there. I hopped on the plane at LAX. I thought you were going to start
hopped
singing.
Hopped off the plane at LAX. Just break out some karaoke.
I was gonna say I thought that's what you were getting at there. It was. I can only think. I remember being the day after 4th of July, and I just hung out with all my buddies at the beach on 4th, and I was like, wow, I had that young boy mindset where I thought I was giving up everything. I was like, I'm gonna miss my senior year. I'm gonna miss the prom. I wasn't thinking big picture. Right. I was thinking, what do I want right now? And I was thinking, I'm going to miss out on all this stuff. I'm going to miss out on going to college and things that I thought were probably more exciting than what they actually are. In hindsight, it's stupid to think giving up an opportunity to go to do your senior in high school. But I was, but I was definitely nervous and just more like, I knew this was the more difficult path. It was going to be a lot more uncomfortable. And I think when you're in an uncomfortable situation, it takes you a little bit of time to accept that, it was the right move. So it took a few months for me to really understand that that was the right decision at the time. But getting on that plane, I'm sure there was a lot of doubt in my brain. That was the right thing to do. Just a young guy, 16 years old, trying to figure out what was next.
Yeah, but a lot of people, it's easy to look at players and be like, they got it made, they got it easy, stuff like that. But even for anybody who has even success in any field, any field that you're in, there takes a lot of sacrifice. So I think it's important, to get that message out, especially if there's somebody younger who's
there's
watching.
A younger kid, exactly. If there's a younger kid, hearing this and they're in a similar situation, hopefully they can take some advice from this and
take the opportunity. Take the risk, and like you said, you could have always, God forbid it didn't work, you come back, you go to college, and that route is still open. So props to you, props to your family for helping you out. What was that Celtic youth experience like? I have a picture here in a little bit that I'm going to show you. We're going to get into that presentation later, but how was that Celtic Youth Academy?
Yeah, it was my first few months were, it started off great. I think the biggest difficulty was the change in lifestyle, the change in the weather, the change in the earlier, getting darker earlier at night.
Right.
That was off the field was tough, but on the field was great. I had, coaches who they knew what they were doing. They knew the right things to teach the kids. And I think the attention that they're able to give you, and also just knowing that you're a part of a club that's, created so many amazing players. The first ever British team to win the Champions League, and every single player on the field was born within 10 miles of the stadium.
That's awesome.
So it's a cool stat, and it shows you that the homegrown talent in Scotland is very good, and Celtic create great players. There were a lot of youth players there that I thought, wow, these kids are fantastic. And so I got there, and I knew the kind of the facilities I had. I was able to work with the coaches I knew I was able to work with. So my first year was with the under-18s, and I did really well. Played in a youth cup final at Hampden where we lost, but then I was able to play a Glasgow Cup final for the 20s at Celtic Park. So that was my first game ever at Celtic Park. And so it was amazing. It definitely, I developed a ton when I was there. The coaching, and also just seeing what's out there. I think you see maybe better talents in the UK. I think compared to the US, you see some really talented young kids, and you know the level that you have to get at to play for the Celtic first team, because you see it from the first day you step in the doors. You see the young kids. You see Karamoko Dembele. There was a young touter prospect who's doing really well now. I saw his ability the first day I was there, especially on trial as well. And, I saw the level I had to be at very quickly. It was eye-opening, and I made sure to use all my resources while I was there. The ex-pros who were coaches, and the great gyms, the great fields. So, yeah, it was top-notch.
Was there anything that you think that they had or were doing, or I know you mentioned like probably better facilities than we had here, but just from like a developmental side, anything that they were doing better or more of out there that maybe we weren't focusing here on the U.S. with the
I
youth?
think it was like, a lot of the younger kids there were less probably physically developed, but they were constant with a ball. Like when you're at the
Okay.
facility, there was like tech ball tables that the kids were
Yep.
constantly playing with. They were constantly working on their left foot, constantly working on the right foot. You know, I myself kind of was going to the park almost every single night after training and doing extra technical work, doing extra work.
Hmm.
I think it's just more the the kids there are fanatical. It's like
Yeah.
that's all they have. And I think maybe sometimes you can get stuck in like here I was from SoCal. I had the beach. I had the nice weather where I could go and I could hang out with my buddies. We could go get food. We could go to the beach. Whereas in Scotland, there really wasn't much else to do other than watch the games on the weekend. Sit down, watch Sky Sports, watch all the games, then go and play with my teammates or my buddies. Go to the park by myself. I think it's just the constant mindset of always having a ball at your feet, just kind of getting that muscle memory from a young age. It makes so much difference. I saw when I started going to the
100%.
park every night when I was younger, I saw like my technical ability just start going up and up. And I was always a pretty good on the ball. I always worked on it, but it became almost like second nature the amount that I had the ball at my feet, and the
Right.
other guys did too.
I feel like you'll see that a lot here more with like basketball too. Like
Yeah, you
you'll
see a
see
lot of street
guys
guys
always
playing.
walking.
A lot of the guys
Yeah,
playing on
yeah,
the
yeah.
street, playing pickup, and constantly, and
Right.
that's where you learn your skills when you're just free flowing with basketball or soccer. You're just free flowing. You're just doing what comes to your mind. It almost becomes second nature.
Mhm.
You're right. That's a good analogy.
And then Celtic youth, and then you make your professional debut for Celtic. Do you remember what day that was? I'll test you here a little bit.
January 11th, 2021.
Okay, okay. You got it
Yeah,
tatted on you, or just
I
mental?
have, I have a lot. It's just mentally in here. I have
Okay,
a
who's
plaque
who's it
upstairs.
against?
Oh, you're asking stupid questions against the
hey,
Hibs, Hibernian.
hey, and you actually started center forward, which we're gonna get into a little bit here. Your versatility, as well, but obviously it was behind closed doors. Unfortunately, I'm sure you wish it could have been like with fans and stuff. Was your family able to be out there, or not even
No,
that?
I mean the whole day was a little strange. I actually don't think I've ever you know, came out and said it, but it was just like it was a day where, I don't love to make excuses for stuff like that, but the circumstances in which my debut did come, it was a little difficult, and I think you always have to be ready for the opportunities that are presented to you, especially one as big as debuting. But it was the circumstances that were there was hard. I remember it was I'd been back down with the reserves due to some contract disputes, and just kind of I was just wanted to. I think I had an idea in my brain where I wanted to be with the first team and I wanted to play for Celtic, but I wanted to be under the right conditions, not money wise. I think more opportunity wise. I wanted to make sure I had opportunities, and so there were some disputes where I wanted to be in like some first team squads and be around the first
Right.
team. But it was such a big season that they couldn't guarantee it, and I understood at the time. But I said, I just want to have some security where I know I'm not just going to get signed to a new deal and then on to the next young guy to sign. We have to re-sign the next young guy. I think it was more I didn't want it to be signed and then sent off to the reserves.
Right.
And so I'd been with the second team for a few months at that time, and it was we were sent to the second team facility where there wasn't a lot of utilities, but it was good facility, good field, but it was getting to the part of the year where it was getting really cold and the pitch would freeze over, and up at
Hmm.
the first team facility there was a lot of underground heating on the first team field, so you could train no matter what. But there wasn't that privilege at the second team facility where when the field would freeze over you couldn't train, and it was more you just have to wait until the weather got better. So there was a 10 to 14 day period where we really couldn't train at all, and we were doing just kind of like stationary bike rides at the stadium.
Yeah.
And so, couldn't really go outside too much to train because all the fields are frozen. And then I remember first team goes to Dubai for a mid-season kind of little trip to get their minds off the difficulties of the season. Then they come back, half the team gets COVID, and I found out the night before I'm going to be in the squad. And so I was like, shoot, this could be my opportunity. I didn't know I was starting. I just knew I was in the squad. So that next morning, I found out around like 10 p.m. that night, the night before, January 10th. And then the next morning, before we had to meet at the team hotel, I went to the park, and I had like a hour and a half session. I had like a pretty intense session because I not really touched the ball for 2 weeks at that time, 10 to 14 days. So I wanted to kind of get my muscle memory back. Like it was kind of, I just wanted to get some touch on the ball to have some comfort. And then around like 2 p.m. that day, I find out I'm starting in like a 4-diamond-2 as a striker, which, was my favorite position. I was hoping that it was going to be more like a right wing position. Unfortunately, that wasn't what happened. And then, I feel like I then went out and I didn't have my best game. It wasn't my best performance ever, and it, was an unfortunate way the whole scenario worked out. But I mean, it's something that I'm gonna live the rest of my life as someone who debuted for Celtic and played for Celtic. So that's, a huge honor for myself and my family. So would I've liked it to have been under better scenario, of course, but you always have to prepare yourself for crazy things to happen like this. And
100%.
It's what it is.
What was that call? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. No worries.
What was that? What was that call with Pops? You ring him up. You say, "Hey, I'm starting tomorrow, or I'm in the squad for tomorrow."
Yeah. So I'd been in the squad a few times. I hadn't made my debut. I'd been in the squad when I was training with the first team and kind of was with them every day. And I don't remember it completely, but I'd assume it was something of probably a little bit of surprise because, my time at Celtic there, I probably was leaving at that time. I kind of knew, I had an idea that I probably wasn't going to sign the new deal just because of some disputes I had with some of the guys there. And then when I got the calls in the squad, I was like, oh, wow, like I could start, who knows? And I was texting some of the other younger guys, like, are you in the squad? Are you in the squad? So all the young guys were in the squad. So I was quite comfortable because I was like, I'm going to have other younger guys there. And I think my dad was probably like, wow, this could be the game. I know my mom was thinking that because I was with my mom. And then I remember finding out I was in the starting squad, and then all my cousins and all that found out. So I was getting a ton of messages from all sorts of family and friends. And it probably didn't help, how I was feeling. It probably put a little bit more pressure on me because I was already pretty stressed because I knew the occasion was monumental. It was, my debut at Celtic. And so I think my mom and dad, if I would have remembered, I would have liked to remember what happened, but I'd assume that they were probably trying to downplay the day. They're probably trying to be like, oh, yeah, it's just see it as an opportunity, see it as, you're going to make your debut. Don't see it as too big of a game. Just, play how you always play. And a lot easier said than done. I was very nervous for that game. It was probably by far the most nervous I've ever been for a game. And it was in an empty stadium in a pretty big game against Hibs. A must-win game in the league title chase. I think we ended up tying 1-1. But I played 60 minutes or so, and I can live the rest of my life saying that I played for Celtic. So that's something that's definitely.
Hell yeah, Cam.
I hold very close to my heart.
Where's that jersey at? It's got to be somewhere. I know you know where it's at.
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Come on.
I have it framed.
All right, last question, because this one even took me by surprise, and then we can kind of close that Celtic chapter and move towards the Red Bull chapter. Oh, you there? Oh,
yeah, good.
Again, probably another one of these stupid questions that you're going to say, but do you remember who was playing right back that night?
Yeah, Jeremy Frimpong.
Talk to me about that. Jeremy Frimpong.
I remember the whole team list. I probably remember the whole team list.
I didn't write down that much. I gotta look that one up.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Jeremy Frimpong. Yeah, he's very, very good. So fast,
I,
so good
I
for
think
one
you
v
take
one.
him in a race. Come on, Cam. I think you take him in a race.
This one I'll have to sit out. I think he would absolutely torch me in a race. That's how fast this guy is. I count myself as pretty fast, but he would torch me. He would
Do you still
destroy me.
do you still talk to any of the guys from the Celtic days?
More so the young kind of reserve guys that I was
Yeah.
really good friends with. I was really good friends with a few of the younger guys. A guy named Brodie Patterson, Max McGregor, very Scottish names. These are I'm more like the young guys that I had a lot of laughs with. Good memories.
I've always wondered what it's like. Like you're with a team, you're with players every day, and then you kind of leave. It's kind of like you say, like high school friends or even college or uni friends. Like you'll stay in contact, but it's always like they're doing their
It's
thing.
always very brief. For the
Right.
most part, most of the conversation you get are brief, just kind of catching up. A lot of the guys, we don't speak to a ton, but if I was to message them or say I was in Scotland, if you want to go on a night out, like they would
You
be,
pick it right back up. Like yeah.
Yeah, you just pick up where you left off.
And then another thing I noticed, you always have long sleeves under your kits. Is that like is that
Well,
is that
this
a
year I
thing?
kind of went away from it. Is
Is there like a reason behind that? I'm a big long sleeve guy. I love long sleeve
Yeah,
kits.
I like long sleeves. It's more so about comfortability, just whatever,
Yeah.
when I'm feels comfortable. But then we're playing in Montreal away this year, and I didn't realize it was going to be so hot in Montreal in the summer. It was like 95
Right.
degrees. And mid-game, I always wondered if I should have got a yellow card for this. Mid-game, the ball goes out for a goal kick. Take off my shirt, take off my undersleeve. I've got no shirt on. Throw the undershirt off the field, and I
Yeah.
put my shirt back on. And I remember leaving the field, and I didn't think anything of it, but my teammates were like, "You probably should have got yellow carded for like taking your shirt off."
Probably.
And I always wondered like what the ruling was on that. Also, you take it off when you celebrate, it's yellow, but I always
I
wondered.
mean, Apple TV did you well. They didn't throw the strip show
Yeah.
up on Apple TV, so I didn't catch that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
But
no, you're right.
if you ask for a long sleeve kit, will Red Bull get you one, or do you like that sort of long
I
sleeve
like the more
underneath and then the
long sleeve tight feeling underneath. It's more like kind of like makes you feel a bit more compact, a bit more. Yeah, I don't know. There's something I've done for a long time, and so that's how it is. But this year I've kind of went away from it.
Yeah, I wear a long sleeve shirt every game. I'm always in the Ryan Mara. He gave me his kit.
Oh
And
yeah,
now I'm
the
always
purple
in the.
one? I mean, yeah, the purple one. Yeah, the purple one. Or
No,
the
it's
green
like
one?
it's blue from like last season, I
blue.
think. It's
Okay.
like blue, long sleeve. It became part of the brand. It's kind of like a running
Yeah.
joke with the supporters section. Because
Yeah.
every game,
Right, man,
I go to
supporters
every
club.
yeah, I go to every
You're the head of it.
home game, and I
Yeah.
wear that jersey, and they're like, dude, we got to get you a different jersey. I was like, yo. People come
No,
up to me
this
too
is
because it's so recognizable. So they see me like doing a vlog with the jersey,
Yeah.
and then I'll just be like having a beer in the parking lot, and like kids will just come up to me. Are you the crossover? And I'm like, yeah. Probably
That's
should
your
put
brand,
the beer
dude. That's
down.
your brand. You have to stick
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
part of the
Your
brand. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Cam. I tell everybody it's part of the brand.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's move over to the Red Bulls. A couple months later, you're back in the U.S.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask you this question. You don't have, were you a Galaxy fan growing up, or
wouldn't
not
say I was
much?
I wouldn't say like I was a diehard fan of Galaxy. I had Galaxy jerseys. I was coached by Chris Klein, so I was from SoCal. So I had that
Yep.
built in. I was always a Celtic fan, but my
Right,
US
right.
team was LA Galaxy. I had LA Galaxy jerseys. I had, Beckham was here. I loved Beckham.
Right, exactly.
And
Keane, did you watch Keane out there at all?
Yeah,
or no?
yeah, Robbie Keane. Yep, ton of Robbie Keane. Played for the Galaxy for
Yeah.
a year when I was younger. So yeah, I would say I was a fan. I was a fan of the team. I wouldn't say I was a diehard fan, but I supported them. Had jerseys. Had met Greg Berhalter. I'd had Beckham jerseys. It was a good family night out where we would go to Galaxy games. Me, my brother, my dad, and it'd just be a football night.
Right, exactly.
So that's it was just it was it worked for us supporting Galaxy.
And you made your Red Bull debut at Dignity Health, didn't you?
Yeah, April 24th, 2021.
Okay, this guy.
I'm good with dates. I'm good with the dates.
What a stadium! I mean, obviously, wish we could have had one more good memory out there, one more night. But that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I couldn't even imagine, growing up around here in the area, debuting at Red Bull Arena would have been would have been dope. But again, the pinky, all that, whatever. We don't gotta talk
Yeah,
about it.
it's a tough life, man. It's a tough life.
So you pull up, you're in Jersey playing for the Red Bulls. What were kind of like your first impressions coming here? Expectations?
Yeah.
Did it live up? Just
Yeah,
talk to me about that.
I knew the pipeline that Red Bulls had. I spoke to the older GM at the time, Kev Thelwell, who was the GM who ended up signing me, and I liked everything that they were saying. I liked they like young guys. There's obviously a built-in pathway between New York Red Bulls, Salzburg, and Leipzig. And so,
Right.
there was always that possibility to further my career after, whenever that would be. And I liked the change of scenery. I thought, coming to the East Coast would be. I didn't want to go back to the West Coast. If I was to come to MLS, was always East Coast, and I wanted to
Oh wow.
be a little away from my, because I feel like when you're too close to friends and family, it can be a distraction.
Yeah.
So I wanted
to
have my full focus on this, and if I say now, has it lived up to expectations? Yeah, absolutely. My first year though was tough. I didn't play a lot.
Yeah.
It was an adaptation period. I was a young guy who finally lived by myself. It was the first time I'd lived just myself, and it was a huge adaptation period. I think I quickly learned that when you're in a first environment, no matter where you are, it's tough. Everyone's a professional. Everyone's that's their job, is to be good and play games,
Right.
and get in the team, and it's competitive. So the move, in hindsight, has been fantastic. Absolutely love playing at Sports Illustrated Stadium.
Well, not yet. You haven't played there yet. You know what I mean?
To me, it's Red Bull Arena. To me, it's always been Red Bull Arena.
Come on, Cam, one of us.
It's always going to be RBA to me, and it's been amazing. It's been a lot. 40 years already. Wow, it's flown by, and it's. I've loved it. Other than the first year. The first year was very tough. And but then second year, third year, and obviously this year it's kicked on, and it's been amazing.
Well, you love it, man. I love having you here. I feel like I always say this. I feel like you don't get the recognition that you deserve. Like, I don't know if you feel that way. I don't want you to say anything, you know what I mean? But you're just one of those guys. You don't make too much noise. You're quiet. You do your thing. You show up wherever you're needed. You're there. You play, and you're a Swiss Army, and you give it all 100%. So we're definitely thankful for having you out here as well. First question here from the Instagram. Okay, JB_891 wants to know, what do you like most about the New York Red Bulls?
I think what I like the most about the Red Bulls is just like the culture around the club, especially from the locker room standpoint. The group of guys I'm playing with, it was a good mix in age too. You have some older guys, but you also have a lot of younger guys. Mm-hmm. So I always felt a part of the team. And there's no egos on the team. I think even when you see, like, when Emil comes in, he's a guy who's played tons of games, big games for big teams, and he's our captain, but he's one of the guys. I think that's such a special environment to be able to create, that as soon as guys come into it, I know that my job when a new guy comes in is to make him feel a part of the team, because that's what I would want to feel when I'm joining a new team, is to feel a part of it right away. And I think the culture, and you've seen it with, I think the best way to show the togetherness culture is, this playoff run. I think fans have seen it on the field. This is not 11 individuals. This is a group of 20 plus guys who are ready to step up at any time and be there for one another. And then you look at the
100%.
final, and there's 3,000 traveling Red Bull fans supporting us, and out singing some of the Galaxy fans for the most part. They were loud. They were so supportive of us, and this, especially in Orlando too. I think the culture is like it. I don't know if you get this to other MLS teams, because I've also not been a part of any other MLS teams. But it's genuinely like it's an all-inclusive team. Like everyone feels a part of it. All the fans, I think that's what stood out for me the most, is just right away from day one, I seen the that it was the culture that was ingrained in the club was excellent.
And yeah, you talked about it, man. That playoff run, it's been special. Like me as a fan, been going to every game for like the past 2-3 years. Like
Yeah.
even like I feel like that's a togetherness between the players and the fans togetherness. I feel like the last like month and a half that we lived here with the Red Bulls has been awesome. And obviously we did come up a little bit short, so we'll talk about that now real quick, just because we have a couple of questions, and then we can move past that and kind of look back at the playoff run and how special it was. You obviously said, hurt, upset, but like honestly, a lot of the Red Bull fans, like usually when a team loses, I feel like a lot of the fans are like, oh, like we could have done better, this and that. From our standpoint, we are so proud. I mean, if you told us in some of those June, July days, where we, the team went through a little bit of a down and, there was a lot of ties, losing a lot of points, supporter section at times, holding up, not good enough. If you told us at that time that we'd even be in the MLS Cup final, it was awesome. But Lonray and Anthony, they both submitted the same question. They want to know, how are you going to use this MLS Cup final loss to fuel you going into next season?
Yeah. Obviously, it's so fresh in my mind, even like a few days ago. It doesn't like hurt any less than it did coming off the field. Like, it still is very, like, definitely hurts thinking about it. Just like the possibility of what could have been had we won that game. But yeah, I think the last few years, especially in the playoffs, it's not just fans who have been disappointed. Us as players, the last few years we've got knocked out in the first round, and not only just knocked out in the first round, but it's been like heartbreaking losses. Like losing in the last minute to Philly, your rivals, heartbreaking. Then we get a home playoff tie, and we go up 1-0 against Cincy and we lose 2-1. I think last year was always going to be difficult against the 1 seed. We didn't set ourselves up to have the best playoff run. I think last year it was always going to be difficult. That was probably one of the playoff games where, I think against Philly, even game, could beat them, should beat them. Cincinnati, you have to beat Cincinnati in 2022, especially when you're at home. And then the Cincy game in 2023 was always going to be tough. They probably were better than us over those 2 games. But then this year, we added Emil. Sandro's the coach. There's a different maybe atmosphere around the team. Obviously, the last few months weren't good, but everyone saw the potential in those first few months, how good the team were. We were, 100%. Supporters, contenders, and Emil gets hurt. Some guys go on international duty. I think, not valid excuses, but things happened in the season where there was going to be possibly a dip. But, going into playoffs and beating Columbus was amazing. I think all the fans can say that we went to Columbus.
It was the biggest upset in MLS playoffs until like a week later, the Miami Atlanta. I was like, yo, come on, you couldn't have let us have this little record for a little longer.
But going to Columbus and beating them 1-0, and for the most part pulling them to very few chances, and then playing them at home, going down a goal. When they scored, you could feel the energy of the stadium. Think, all right, well,
not again.
That's it, guys. Well, it was it's nice having the feeling of winning the first game, but now we're probably going to lose this game from that's what the energy in the stadium kind of felt. But then Dante scores 1-1. Okay, we're back in it. Emil scores, and then the 12 minutes of stoppage time, which was interesting.
If you want to see stress, I'm sure you were stressed on the field. Yeah. My vlog for that game, holy cow! Yeah, what a moment.
How you were feeling was how I was feeling.
Well, I was shirtless in the damn stands, acting like a.
Where was you're swinging the Ryan Mara?
Yeah. Ryan Mara was we were summoning him.
Yeah. And so then they score, and then we went on penalties, and we're like, I remember going to the locker room and being like, shoot, like,
we could do this.
We'll beat Columbus. Why, like, who else? me personally, if you ask me, Columbus is, the best team in MLS in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just the way they're coached and the way they play, and they're they're what I would say is the best team in MLS. Best team in MLS, what I think. And then next week, also because we won in two, we had the week next week off. We didn't have the playoff game, and so I was watching the Cincy and NYCFC game very closely, and
Yeah.
I think both teams are good teams, New York City and Cincy. So we knew it was gonna be tough either way. I think, and the good part is we had a built-in motive for both games. It was either we go to
Right.
Cincy and we have to beat the team who's knocked us out the last 2 years. And there's definitely a rivalry there. I don't know how you fans feel, but for
No,
players,
100%. After the last 2 years,
yeah, there's definitely,
100%.
especially between the players, there's a dislike between both those teams.
There was a little bit of this from a former Red Bull player as well to the crowd
Oh yeah,
when we
year,
lost in the Pens. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
There's some built-in rivalry there, and then there's New York City, and come on, we don't like them, they don't like us, and it's a first ever playoff game, and so obviously New York City win, and we know that we're going to go to Citi Field or Yankee Stadium or Red Bull Arena. I was always interested.
Apparently, they were talking about Hartford, Connecticut for a second as well, and I was like,
no, thank you.
Where are we going?
No, thank you. And so, and then we go to New York City and, weather a storm. I thought New York City played well that day. I thought they were, it was a pretty evenly matched game. We took our chances and just kind of fought it out. We win in Queens, and then we're on to Orlando, and obviously everyone was hoping that it was going to be Atlanta, and we are going to play.
Oh, dude!
And watching that game, and as soon as I saw Orlando score, I was like, man, it's probably going to be Orlando, because they were in a good run of form. And so we go to Orlando, and it was a nothing game. There was nothing between the teams. Both teams were so evenly matched, and it's like the cliche. What happens in these types of games? It's always a set piece.
You say there was nothing there, but I got to stop you real quick
Carlos.
Because Carlos. Yeah, Carlos, massive the whole playoff season. But do you remember the tackle that you made in like the 30?
Yeah. That was
that tackle. I literally looked back because I was down at Mulligan's in Hoboken. I looked back, and when I saw you make that tackle, I was like, "We're winning this fucking game." We're like,
funny you say that, because I thought that exact same thing. Because
dude
made that huge save like 5 minutes prior, and then like the guy gets by Shawnee. He's 1-on-1. Who's there? Dylan, his brother. Back him up. Okay, Dylan misses the tackle. I'm there to back Dylan up, and we make the tackle. And I'm like,
I was like, we're winning this fucking game.
In years past, like, we are unlucky. But this whole playoff run, we've had some luck on our side. Like, I'll admit, we had some times where, Carlos comes up huge, makes some huge saves, or the ball lands at our feet, and it was, we had some fortunate moments. But in years past, Orlando score those two, and it's 2-0, and we're fighting back, right?
Yeah.
But we go to Orlando, we win Orlando. Definitely, I can't think of another moment. If I ever do, I'll say it. But peak of my life, winning in Orlando, peak moment I've ever felt. Yeah, definitely.
Come on.
Or at least top 3. Like just how I felt after the game, because we had to dig deep those last 20 minutes, and we had to
I know.
Fight. They were coming at us, and so we're then Eastern Conference champions. The vibes are immaculate. They're so high, and then everyone is thinking, we're gonna go to Galaxy. We're gonna go to the like how I was saying before the game of some interviews, the darlings of MLS. And we're gonna go to their stadium, and we're gonna beat them, and we're gonna win MLS Cup, and it's gonna be amazing. And now I can say it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Obviously, it's
even Emil saying when he put out that quote, I think it was even before the first game in Columbus.
Why can't we?
I know that they're good, but fuck you, why can't we? And that was kind of just been like the mojo. It's like us against the world. Why not us? Why not now? Type of mentality. The team bought in. The fans bought in. This year was truly, truly special. I mean, obviously, it didn't
I mean,
go our way at the
also,
end, but
we had to play what I thought was the best team in the West in the final two. We're playing LA
yeah,
Galaxy, who I thought.
100%.
So it was a gauntlet of games. We had to play our playoff run. I mean, I can't remember a team having a harder playoff run, right?
Yeah, and
And
then
so,
even Felipe goes down, and then Peter, who was
yep,
looking like he was going to be the starter this year, Peter's season as well. I mean, it looks like he's going to be the starter. It looks like he's finally getting his time. Gets injured,
that
has
injury,
to
right?
rehab, and then comes back for the two biggest game of the seasons in the Eastern Conference Final,
Props to him.
and
Props to
and
him. That's a hard
then the whole
situation
Reyes
to be going into.
situation, Noah having to come in on short notice. It's kind
Short
of just
notice,
been
yeah.
like, it was awesome, man. I just gotta
Yeah.
keep saying it was awesome, bro.
Yeah,
With
it
all
was,
that
it
being
was
said, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it was awesome for us too, just as players. And it's cliche you say, "Oh, well, as players seeing the fans happy, it was great," but it really was like the whole club is one. It was like
Yeah,
it was like we were obviously playing on the field, but then also you see what the club did for the fans to travel.
awesome,
You see what the
awesome.
club did. Like there was a real togetherness in the whole playoff run. Like the fans in New York City, like we win and we go over to them and they're all shirts
Dude,
off.
best game I've been to, bro. Taking over City Field, and
Dude,
you're
taking
not
over
singing
City
over
Field.
their chants. You're not
Yeah,
singing over
yeah.
there.
No, they were
Oh,
quiet. They were
prime,
quiet after that one.
prime. And honestly, I feel like the team. I mean, obviously, you're a lot closer. I feel like we can really build off of this, man. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
amount
the
of
goal.
growth from all the young guys. I mean, like
Yeah,
Peter's growth, Edelman's growth, your growth. I mean, for me, you easily lock down that right side position. In my humble
appreciate that.
opinion, you know,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm not the one putting out the lineup sheets, but everybody, man, I feel like there was so much growth from the team, and we're the
Especially the
youngest
MLS
team.
Cup too. That was
Yeah,
like
hundred
that
percent.
was a big game. It was a big game for a lot of us, and I think you've seen it in the first 15 minutes. Maybe the team as a whole felt the pressure of the game a little bit
Yeah,
because it was such a big game, and I think we'd probably hyped it so much that we then got in the game and we're like, shit, we're in. This is it now. We're in the game. And
right.
they score two early goals, and then we kind of ease into the game. And obviously, if those first 15 minutes don't happen, it could be a different game. But yeah, it's such a big experience and learning for everyone to play in such a high pressure game. And I think everyone's going to take this feeling of what it was like to win the Eastern Conference and the highs of that and the lows of losing, obviously, MLS Cup, and know what both felt like. And next time when we get to MLS Cup, we want to feel what we felt after the Eastern Conference Final, that same buzz,
Oh
the
yeah.
same high.
Listen. As a club, we've lost it twice out in LA. I've been saying third time's the
Yeah,
charm.
I've seen that.
It's
I heard about
supposed to
that.
It's supposed to happen at home. I'm pumped up. I'm ready. I know you probably need a little bit of a break, but I'm ready to go right back out into the South
Honestly,
Ward right now.
I'm also ready to go again. I'm
Yeah,
also ready to
come
go.
on,
Yeah,
Cam.
I'm
Come
ready to
on.
go, man.
Do you have a favorite moment of the season, or like one moment that just like sticks out to
The New
you?
York City goal, the
Yeah,
goal I scored in New York City, yeah.
that's
Or
actually funny. Okay, go on.
yeah, or the goal against Toronto, or
Oh yeah.
so that's personal. In terms of best feeling, obviously it's Orlando. That was the moment
Right,
that
right,
sticks
right,
out.
right.
Personal, I'd say one of those two goals, just because it was like I thought they were nice goals.
That's that leads to the next two questions. Kieran Homyak wants to know, what did it feel like to score that banger against NYCFC?
Yeah, I mean, I think the celebration shows I was just on autopilot, just
One of
sliding
those
wherever I
blackout
can.
moments.
Yeah, one of those blackout moments where I was like, "Let's go, that's nice."
And then RB.own New York wants to know, what is your favorite goal as a New York Red Bulls player? Would that be it, or
I think my banger against Chicago,
Oh
my
yeah,
first goal,
yeah, yeah,
where I hit it right at Slonina and he lets it go through his fingers.
yeah,
Did you ever see that goal?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
watch every game, bro.
The 3-3? Yeah, I think that was probably my best goal. The one that, yeah.
You like that?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Um,
That goal sucked. That goal was bad. Probably
I was,
honestly,
I
my
was, I
favorite
was
goal.
like, I thought maybe because it was your first goal, maybe it,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, it held something
for
special. I
definitely
was
my
like, all right,
goal, but it
fair
was a
enough.
terrible goal. It was awful.
I
Um,
was gonna let you ride with it. I don't know.
I liked my goal when we played in Austin a few years ago and we won 4-3 with the Young Bucks. Remember that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, yeah. I got another question here. I need you to answer this one very carefully, and I'll tell you at the end why. Okay. Um.
Here, I'm
First,
probably
what
gonna
do
go
you?
plug in my phone real quick. I'm on 4%, so I'm gonna
Oh,
take
okay. Yeah, yeah. Do your
I'm gonna
thing.
take it upstairs.
Cameron Harper house tour. Here we go. So obviously there was like a bit of a switch tactically. I feel like going into the playoffs. Um, how would you rate the Red Bulls analytics department?
Analytics department, yeah, they obviously saw something, especially like switching it up right before the Columbus game. Like it's a
Yeah.
big risk, especially because you're going up against, like I said, what I thought was the best team, and now you're switching up formations a little bit tactically. They definitely did their job in analyzing what we had to do in that game.
So we giving them a 10 out of 10.
We'll give them a 10 out of 10.
All right, because that question came from Kyle. Kyle Stump. I don't know
Oh,
if you.
oh, yeah. I was wondering where you're getting at. I was like, you think you're gonna trip me up here and say that I'm gonna give him a 6 or a 7?
I was like, listen, answer carefully. I didn't want to start off saying that the question was coming from him, but
Yeah, Stump has done. He's the man.
he's
Came
awesome,
from,
man.
or
He's
maybe he knew what he was getting into because he was from
I
Columbus.
mean, I texted him after. I was like,
He's a
I don't know if
spy.
this one felt a little special. I don't know if this
Yeah.
one felt a little special.
Yeah.
But yeah, that question came from him. Is there any like, when you look back, like, what do you think on a personal note? Like, was like, where you were at your lowest, and how do you feel like you overcame that?
A part of Red Bulls.
Red Bulls, your career in general, just
Oh,
like how do you
there's one
overcome
that stands out
adversity?
for sure. There's one that stands out for
Yeah.
sure. 2021, one of my first appearances. Uh, I get subbed on as a wingback in Boston at New England,
Uh huh.
um, and I hadn't really played wingback ever. I was always a right winger, left winger. I was always a winger, and so I think in that Gerhard wasn't for the first few months, keen on playing a formation with a winger. So we're playing a back five and we're down to 10 men. We got a red card, and I get subbed on. I think at minute 59. I remember these numbers well. I got subbed on at minute 59, and I got subbed off at minute like 84. So I got subbed
Hmm.
on and subbed off in the same game, and that was
Right.
definitely that knocked my confidence for quite a while because I was like, wow, this is the first time I've ever even experienced anything of this, even close to this nature. So yeah, that
Hmm.
was definitely my lowest point. Definitely, New England
Yeah.
game. And I know
And
dates. I know dates. I can even date this one, May 22, 2021. I remember dates.
Okay.
Good days and bad days.
Okay. Do you guys drive? Do you guys drive up to Boston, or you guys fly?
I think we fly to Boston. We
Yeah,
fly
yeah,
there.
that'd be a long drive. But how is that? How'd you overcome that? Like let's say you're at a low point, you had a bad game. Is it talking to family? Is it are you the kind of guy that just wants to listen to music, do whatever, get your mind off of things? How do you handle those difficult moments?
Yeah, I think different people have different ways of coping with it. Mine's always speaking to family, speaking to people that make me feel happy. But also a big one is just training extra and just doing
Yeah.
extra work in terms of like what was the reason I came out, or what was the in the more common situation, say that I'm not getting subbed in and subbed out of a game all the time, but if I have a bad game
Right.
where I don't feel at my best, where did I not feel at my best? Like, did my touch feel bad? What felt bad? Like, where did I not feel comfortable or at my best? And then
Mm-hmm.
that week, focusing on that and focusing on trying to get that back up to speed, because I think at the end of the day, it's when you're on the field, you're there with your teammates, but it can be, you can be lonely out there. It's if you're having a
100%.
bad game, you need to get yourself out of that rut, and so it's just about putting in extra work and putting in the hard yards to get out of whatever rut you're in.
Got you. That's awesome. Um, In terms of social media, are you
Yeah.
on social media much? Favorite platform? Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, anything like that?
I like scrolling on like Twitter sometimes. I wouldn't say I'm big in terms of like posting on social media. That's just not really my thing. I like some of the other guys on my team have pretty cool social medias. You have your J Mines and stuff like that who
Yeah,
they've got some pretty cool social media pages. No, I'll post for family and friends to see stuff, and then
it's awesome.
obviously what the Red Bull supporters want to see if they want to they obviously like some of the stuff. So I keep it to a necessity. Whatever I need to post, I'll post. But I wouldn't say I'm
Would
as
you
big
ever
as some of the other guys.
would you ever do a podcast? I mean, like, I don't know if do you follow the NFL, other sports, anything like that?
Yeah, I follow NFL quite big. I know there's like
Yeah.
Alvin Rossing Brown has one. A lot of the players have one. Um,
Micah Parsons, his is
yeah,
pretty
Micah
big
Parsons
too.
has one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I mean,
Would you ever do something like that, or
I
stream
think
on Twitch or anything?
yeah, I think when I'll streaming on Twitch maybe. I know some people will stream like gaming on Twitch, but
You a gamer?
I am. I do like video games. I'm a bit of a gamer. I like FIFA. I
FIFA,
like Call of
FC?
Duty.
You don't want the word, Cam. I know I
FC,
said
but
I said the pinky kept me out, but the index finger on the sticks, I'm nice.
yeah, I will say though, I think FIFA has fallen off the last few years.
So bad, so bad. I used to like grind Ultimate Team. I haven't
It's
been
pay
on
to
the
win.
game. I haven't been on the game for like months now.
I used to grind FIFA 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all those when it was like the best cards in the game were the team of the years. But now
Yeah.
there's too many cards. It's too pay to win. But I
And
would
it's like the
quit.
same
I would
promos
stream.
every year.
There's two promos. There's too much.
Same
I
pro and same they're the
yeah.
same. It's copy and paste from last year.
I would, you know, so I think these are more so things I would do after my career because I think when you do Twitch and streams and YouTubes and all that, you make yourself almost a target for when your performances aren't too good. You
That's
know,
true.
where it's like, how focused is this guy really? And I don't know how what the NFL guys are like.
The recording stopped, but we're talking about Cam's a big Bills guy, loves the snow, loves gaming, and now we're on about his Twitter.
Yep.
Big Liverpool
Yep.
guy. You were saying that's where your allegiance lies.
Yeah, I grew up loving Fernando Torres. He was like my first crazy player I loved. Loved like the time when there was Luis Suarez and don't like Raheem Sterling anymore, but when Raheem Sterling was kind of coming up
Yep.
and Daniel Sturridge,
Don't like him anymore.
Daniel Sturridge and that team, like the 2013 team, and then
Can you do the storage, Shelly? Can we see a little? Can we see? Okay.
yeah, that's yeah, big fan of them. But yeah, not much to me. Like what I like. Keep it simple.
That's it. Sweet and simple. Big Klopp guy
Yeah.
as well. Love
Yeah.
Klopp. Have you been able to speak with him? Has he been out here yet? Because he just took over.
Yeah, he took over the Red Bull.
Uh,
We've not seen him yet, but yeah, I know the Jurgen Klopp Liverpool songs. I know all of them.
Okay. How about Mario Gomez? I saw that he was out with the team
Yeah.
for a lot of this playoff run. Did you get to speak with him? How is he? Any piece of advice? Anything like that?
He spoke to us as a team. I haven't spoke to him individually, but I mean, he's one of those guys that he gains respect no matter where he goes, no matter what team he
Oh,
visits. Like if he visits us, it's Mario Gomez, guys,
right, exactly.
legendary striker,
Mario
legendary
Gomez
Bayern
is Mario
striker. So
Gomez.
I think it just goes without saying that when he's at the games, you want to play well because Mario Gomez is watching.
100%. 100%. What about music? What kind of music does Cameron Harper listen
Favorite
to?
artist. My favorite artist is Neo. I'm a big Neo guy. I like Neo. Yeah,
Neo.
Neo. Funny enough, people would never think that.
Okay.
Big Neo. I love Neo. I love. I feel like Drake's pretty safe option. He's got some good music over the
Yeah.
last 10 years.
Any country music? I'm a big country music kind of guy.
I know some of the guys on my team like it. I started listening a little bit to Morgan Wallen. A little bit.
Morgan Wallen's
Yeah,
nice.
but I feel like he's like more mainstream. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he's like just because you like Morgan Wallen doesn't mean you're a country guy. Like So I
Did you go when he was at MetLife or no?
no, I heard that was like 6 months ago, right?
Yeah, 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 it was. Oh yeah, it was during. It was during. I'm pretty sure he was there the same night you guys had a game, actually.
I know. I think some of the guys, or he might have performed 2 nights, or I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He might have done.
Might
He
have
might
two
have done like
nights.
two or three
No,
shows.
I didn't go. What? Who's your country? Who's your country singer?
Oh, I love it all. Luke Combs. I listen to a little. I listen to a little bit of
Yeah.
everything, honestly. It just kind of depends on the
Yeah.
mood. I'll do some EDM this morning. I was listening to a
Yeah,
bit
I
of
like EDM. I like
EDM. You
Dom
know.
Dalla. I like some EDM. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm very versatile. Kind of just depends on the time and place. But NYRB fan 47 on Instagram. This is why I'm asking. This is gonna be a hard one, but favorite album? Do you have like an album that
Year of the Gentleman by Neo. Yep.
Year of the Gen? This guy in Neo, huh?
It's like I think it was like
No.
2008 probably. And the reason I like it so much was I associate that with my mom would take me to most of my tournaments. We would drive because like when I was younger, my mom would drive 3 4 hours for some tournaments, and so she had
Yeah.
some CDs, and the CDs were "The Year of the Gentleman" by Neo. I think "18" from Adele, and
Adele is fire.
yeah,
I
that
love me some
I think it was
Adele.
18. I think that was what she released when she was 18. I think it's called 18. Those two
Uh
albums, I
huh.
know all the songs on it because my mom would play it through repeat on the tournament weekends, and so I
Oh,
just
okay.
listened to it almost every other weekend when we travel for tournaments or away games or whatever.
Mm.
And so I associate that with like my younger days of playing, like my coming of age years. Maybe Neo for an
Carry.
8-year-old is a little bit explicit, but
Yeah, it's a little but it is what it is.
it's a little explicit, but
You know those memes where it's like 10-year-old me singing every
yeah,
word to whatever song it
to like
was,
Chris Brown
and then
songs, some of that, and you're thinking back like,
yeah,
was I really
like
allowed to
maybe
sing? Was I really
not.
allowed to sing that? Some of the like the woman stuff. Oh
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
yeah, it's funny.
What about if Cam Harper? Do you go out a lot? Are you more just in the house?
Um, During season, I would say I'm more calm. I'm not really up to much, just because it is a 24/7 job. It's very gotta take
Right.
care of yourself. But I do like to go out for some nice dinners sometimes in Hoboken, or just kind of walk around the waterfront. It's a really nice, pleasant place just to walk around, and like
100%.
you feel as if you're around a lot of younger people too, and everyone's just kind of going about their
Yeah.
business. So it's nice, tolerable.
What if
Yeah.
tolerable? What if you end up at a karaoke bar and you get shot up there for karaoke? What song are you throwing on?
Hmm.
I'm a Someone Like You by Adele kind of
That's a
guy.
good one. I would say,
Get up there.
saying that I'm from Hoboken, I'd probably go maybe like some sort of Frank Sinatra song
Okay,
from
that's
maybe
life.
"Fly Me to the Moon" or something.
Okay, can we get a little sample
No, maybe
or?
maybe. How about maybe when we win MLS Cup and we're drunk during
Okay,
celebrations? Maybe that's when it comes out.
yeah. There we go. A couple Guinnesses
Yeah.
later, we need a little karaoke. All right. Player you look to growing up. I'm just trying to look at some of the questions I had here. You mentioned Fernando Torres.
Yeah,
Is there?
Torres, obviously Messi, Henrik Larsson. Um,
Ooh, okay.
I always liked Arjen Robben. Always liked Arjen Robben.
Oh, Robin was sick.
Yeah,
The Robin Ribery duo
duo,
was
electric,
that was something,
electric.
man. Favorite? Do you have a favorite Christmas movie? I know Christmas is around the corner.
I like The Grinch and I like Love Actually. Yourself?
Okay. I'm a big Elf kind of
Elf,
guy.
yeah,
Big
it's
Elf
solid.
guy.
I'm Will
Yeah.
Ferrell's my favorite actor, so that's.
I remember when I was little, like going to New York, and you know how he like skips on like the white parts
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
of the
A long
crosswalk.
time since I've seen it.
This guy, go watch Elf
I would have
tonight. Go
watched it,
watch
bro,
Elf.
but I hurt my pinky.
Ah, okay, okay. The pink is coming back around. Favorite food?
Sausage rolls.
It's from
Yeah,
Greg's. That's
yeah.
it. Um, well, if you're going out to dinner, give me appetizer, main course, dessert. You're going out to dinner.
Appetizer, mussels.
Okay.
Dinner, uh, a nice pizza, not like a actually
Yeah,
made
yeah, yeah.
pizza, or like a breaded chicken. I like that. And then for dessert, you ever been to Antique Bar and Bakery? in Hoboken.
I don't
Their
think
bread
so.
pudding. They have a bread
Yeah?
pudding, and it's really well known. It's amazing. It's fantastic.
I haven't been. I gotta get
You
out there.
gotta.
I'm a big Italian guy,
Yeah,
so a
me
nice
too.
little
Yeah, chicken parm's not
chicken
bad.
parm, a nice cannoli with a
Cannoli.
cappuccino.
Cannolis are nice. Cannolis are nice, man. I agree.
Are you a big coffee guy or no?
It's grown on me the last year or so. I've like started
Yeah.
to drink it more and more.
What what do you drink? Being a Portuguese
Cappuccino,
household, I'm a
very
big
very or no, sorry, not a cappuccino. Like a latte. Very.
I like I like my espressos.
Oh,
Growing up Portuguese household,
yeah,
my
you
parents
guys.
have like
You guys are
four espressos a day.
four espresso.
Bro, we would have dinner like 7 p.m. They'd have an espresso and be in bed by 9. I'm like, how do you guys?
Built up a tolerance to it because that if
Yeah,
that's me,
must
it's
have been.
nah. I'm not sleeping that night.
All right, I got let's go to this presentation, and then I have a couple more questions to
All
ask
right,
you, and I'll let you get out of
sounds
here.
good.
Again, appreciate the
No
time, bro.
worries.
We've been
Short,
on like two
short and
hours, man.
sweet.
It's been a good chat. It's only been 8 minutes. Come
Yep.
on.
Okay.
All right, there we go. First picture, just whatever comes to mind.
Amazing.
Okay, there we go.
Glasgow Cup. Also amazing.
That's what it was.
Yep.
I was meant to ask you. So this was the Glasgow Cup that you won in your youth career
Yep.
with Celtic.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one here. Thumbs down. No words. No words. All right.
Animal. Friend. Animal on the
Yeah.
field and also friend.
I remember a couple years back, I used to like wait outside the parking lot to ask you guys a couple questions. I asked you where you would play Giannis on the field. Um, yeah, you don't remember it. It's fine. Nah, it's fine. My pinky was
Hey,
hurt that
I'm
night
honest.
too.
I'm honest. I don't remember.
And I saw you driving. I think Lewis was driving, and you guys were leaving the arena. Would you say he's like your closest friend on the team,
Yeah,
or
he's definitely up there. Definitely.
yeah?
Yeah, we just have
How do- how
Phil and King.
how much does him being Scottish kind of make you feel like?
Yeah, I think that plays definitely a big role. Similar backgrounds and both played at Celtic. I think there's a lot of we have
Yeah,
in common that was just built into our, you know, us being friends, right off the bat.
I heard he's a Rangers fan though. Come on, Cam, we can't be doing that,
Yeah,
man.
it's not great, but
Everybody got their flaws, right?
everyone, he would say the same thing about me supporting Celtic, so it's okay.
Yeah, there we go. Next picture here. Okay, there we go. Quick and easy. Yeah, thumbs
Yeah, that
up.
was that was
What it mean getting that man of the match trophy at the end there?
yeah, it just like maybe it gave credibility to it just made me feel as if I played a big part and I was winning such a massive game. And obviously, it always feels good to when your team wins and you know that you played a role in it. It's always a great feeling.
100%, 100%.
26th World Cup. Hopefully Scotland make it.
Yeah. What about you personally? Trying. I know obviously it's definitely a goal of yours to be there. I know I've heard you in the past talk about U.S., Scotland. You still
Whoever wants me,
open to both?
whoever
Yeah.
whoever will take me.
You think Lewis puts in a good word for you? Maybe for
Nah,
Scotland.
I don't think so.
I think that right back position for the U.S. could use I'm saying a little Cam Harper, but
Time will
again,
tell. Time will tell.
that's just me.
Oh man, so close. Yeah.
Motivation though,
Motivation.
motivation.
Right now,
We're
it
gonna
sucks
get
to
there.
see because it's such a nice looking trophy. We walked right past
Yeah.
it like when we were lining up. Yeah, sucks to see right now, but in 6 weeks that'll be the target.
Oh my bad.
The hell is that?
Do you know what this is? I looked up Scottish food.
The
Okay.
haggis?
Yeah.
I've never had it, so honestly, I
Oh yeah.
can't have an opinion on it. Never had it.
And any Scottish food in particular that you
Really,
not
man,
really?
not really.
Okay.
Pretty cool, huh? Me and Frank.
I didn't know this.
Yep.
How was that?
I was 14, he was 15, or maybe I was 15, he was 16.
How crazy is that? And then you guys end
No.
up both with the Red Bulls. Obviously, he's departed. You stay in contact with him. I know
Yeah, yeah. He's at the game.
he was at the
Yeah.
final. Yeah,
Yeah, me and Frankie stay in contact. He's the man. Love that guy.
that's awesome.
New Jersey.
I was hoping
Come
you
on,
knew what
man.
this was.
New Jersey. Come on.
Yeah, thoughts on Jersey?
I actually love Jersey. Doesn't get enough
Right?
good rep.
Thank you. I've been saying
Yeah.
this for so
Doesn't get
long.
enough good rep.
I got a big, I got a big question when speaking of Jersey. Do you call it Taylor ham or pork roll, or do you not even know what I'm talking
I've
about?
heard this. I'd say sausage, egg, and cheese. That's all I want.
All right, he doesn't even want the Taylor ham. It's usually North Jersey says Taylor
But
ham,
I've
South
heard
Jersey
this
says
debacle. I've heard this debacle.
yeah,
I'm not
big
including myself in
debacle.
it though. New York City, good city, but another city. Yeah.
Yeah, you go out there a lot or no?
Honestly, last year,
Yeah,
barely ever.
it's nice to go out. I go out every once in a while. It'll be a good
It's a
night.
great, yeah. Oh, captain, the man.
Talk about his impact, man. I feel like he's definitely helped the team. Not even just on like what he provides all on the pitch, but just how much of a mentor has he been to the whole squad.
Yeah, I mean, I think you, all you have to do is look at the difference in the results from him being out and being in,
Yeah.
and even just his presence on the field, his leadership,
Uh,
along with how good he is on the ball. My buddy says he's a wizard. That's how my buddy who watches the game describes him as a wizard. He's like he's just a wizard with the ball. Um, yeah, I think you see the improvement in results and just his leadership on the field, off the field. Like I think it just gives us all that little bit of extra percent that's needed to win.
yeah. Have you had any other mentors throughout your career that you really grew or learned from?
Um, in terms of players, I obviously speak to Lewis. He's obviously someone that I get advice off of stuff. I'd say the most influential guy I've ever had in my career was I had a coach at Celtic called Steve McManus. He was
Okay.
we called him Mick. He was he used to be the captain of Celtic. He captained Celtic like I'm thinking like 2006 or 2007. And in terms of a coach who influenced me and kind of really screwed my head on right and knew what and kind of told me what I needed to do to if I really want to take it far. He's probably the
Yeah.
biggest influence I've ever had in my career.
That's awesome. What do you think makes for a good coach? Like some characteristics or like what do you think?
I think a coach who obviously you need to be um, know the game, know the game tactically, but being able to handle individual players and know that not every player is the same. That like in order to coach them, it's not just one, you know, rule and everyone follows. I think some guys react differently to different types of coaching. So just being able to adapt and give different people information in the way that suits them is I think usually where
Right.
I think you see it with Klopp. Klopp looks so personable. He looks so
Uh,
friendly. And sometimes he looks scared on the sideline. Sometimes he's screaming, but also sometimes he's after a bad game putting his arm around someone and saying, like he's obviously just being
hundred
supportive.
percent.
And I think that's important as a coach is being able to adapt to different personalities.
And even from the outside, I mean, his connection with the fans, his connection with the whole club, Klopp is definitely
Yep.
admirable. If you could bring any player that you've played with to the Red Bulls, who would it be?
My buddy Brody Patterson at Celtic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On kind of that same note, I don't know if do you still keep up with Celtic Academy or RBNY two?
I keep up with Celtic's youth team sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any player either on RBNY two or Celtic that you think people should be looking out for within the next coming years here, or that excites you, or just somebody that we should be looking at?
I think on Celtic's youth teams, I think I've probably been gone long enough to not like I don't know. exactly who's coming through anymore. I'm more so just
Right.
following, and I know that they've done really well in the youth league this year. But in terms of young guys at Red Bull, I think you obviously have Jules, you have Julian
Hmm.
Hall who's coming through. He's going to be a good player. But also, I've been impressed by Adri, the guy who
Oh
just signed
yeah.
homegrown. I think those two guys especially are you know I see real potential in them. I think maybe as soon as next year is going to be when you start hearing about them. But yeah, those two guys definitely have got some good potential in their career.
That's awesome. Um, Celtic Rangers Sunday,
Yeah,
10:30 a.m., 7:30
7:30
for
Pacific
you.
time. Yeah,
You excited? Can we get a prediction out of you?
yeah.
What
Me
do
and
we
my
got
dad were
here?
talking about it last night. I say Celtic are on too good a run of form, unbeaten in the league. I would say it's going to be 2-0. It's usually never a blowout in those games, except for the 5-1 a few years ago, like 6 7 years ago. But usually it's always a close match. There's never usually anyone getting blown out just because it's feisty. So I say 2-1 or 2-0 Celtic.
Do we have any banter, any friendly little bet with Lewis going, or no? Maybe make him pull up first game in a full Celtic uniform, or vice versa.
Nah, it's usually honestly I am not one to I always feel like, and it's how I feel with the NYCFC game when we won. Us beating them is enough. I don't need to. I don't need to go out and flaunt it and tell
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
Just winning the game is enough for me. For me, just winning it that says all I need to hear. You know.
That's awesome. Cam, I want to say thank you so much, man. First guest on the
I'm
podcast. Couldn't have
honored. Thank you.
imagined a better guy. We've been talking for like 2 hours, free flowing, man. I don't. Do you watch Pat McAfee by any chance or
I
no?
do, but he sometimes watching for too long can get on my nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to do like I want to turn this channel more into like a McAfee, but kind of like more calm, talking about
Yeah.
soccer. So hopefully we'll see you, throughout the season. Come back, keep this going. I want to give a super shout out to John Hassel as
Yeah.
well for connecting us, making this possible. And I'm gonna need a jersey, bro. You know what I mean. I'm gonna need a jersey next season. Hopefully,
Are you gonna wear it
maybe.
over the Ryan Mara? Nah,
I don't
you can
know.
hang it up. You can hang it up or keep it
Part of,
up.
yeah, it'll come right here on the brick wall. We
I
got
think
the
that's.
wall of greatness behind
I was gonna
us.
say
You
that's a
want
pretty
to
nice wall you got there going on.
pick a picture? You got a favorite up here? We got Sean O'Malley
I see Dustin
up there
Poirier
somewhere.
choking out Michael Chandler.
Yeah, come on. We got Mariano. We got
Why it was me,
Balotelli.
Materazzi, Zidane,
We got 2016
2016
best day of
Euro.
my
Yeah,
life. Come on, you know that.
yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. A lot of ink. Ink is expensive,
You're
man.
right.
Ink is expensive.
Yeah, no. Hey, man,
No,
inflation these days is hitting all of us.
exactly, exactly. I'm not quite on that Cameron Harper contract, you know what I'm saying? But World Cup 2026, man. If you're not on the pitch, I would love for you to come be on the RV, bro. I want to keep this relationship going. You're an awesome guy. Who do you think I should have on here next? Let's get a little shout out, maybe a good word.
Let's go. AJ Marcucci.
AJ Marcucci. We will DM AJ.
Hey,
If you guys if you
it's
guys
like
aren't
the
following,
ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Remember that? I
yeah,
nominate AJ.
exactly. I nominate AJ Marcucci's gonna be like, God damn it, I gotta go talk to this guy. But yeah, Cam's links will all be down below, so make sure to go drop him a like. And I gotta show you one last
All
thing.
right.
I know you probably gonna say your finger was injured again, but you've done this before for me, so we're gonna need you to do it one more time here. All right, let me know if you can hear it.
Quick message from the fan. All right. Like the video and subscribe to Crossover. All right. Like the video, subscribe to Crossover. You heard the man.
My man, my man. All right, I'll leave you again here. One last word from Cam Harper, whether it's a piece of advice, motivation for the fans, whatever it is, you get the last word of the podcast, whatever you want to say to
Yeah.
close us out
I
here.
think fell short this year, but next year, support. We'll be back at it. We're gonna try and get that cup.
Why not us? Why not now? Cam Harper, thank you so much, man.
Joe?
Right, so I just got done editing the podcast, and I just want to come on here and say, man, if you guys made it to the very end, thank you guys so much for watching. The support that you guys have been showing me as of recently is unreal. I've been working at this for like 2 years, and the support recently is just honestly humbling. You guys are the reason I was even able to land this opportunity to sit down and talk to Cam. So for that, I am forever grateful to you guys. And another shout out to Cam, man. Super cool dude. Talking to him a couple of days before, trying to find the time to do this. We had Wi-Fi issues, camera issues. I tried to fix it all the best that I could here in the post-production, but he stuck with me throughout the whole process. So go drop him a like or a follow, I should say, on Instagram, Twitter. All of his stuff is linked down below. And he said he would be down to, kind of be a regular. Maybe we get to talk to him during the season, get a little inside view into his mind and into the team throughout this next season. I don't know which direction I want to take this in. If I want to do like a daily soccer, sports, football talk show, kind of like the McAfee show, like I mentioned, or if I just kind of want to do maybe one guest a week, something like that. But we'll see. Again, I'll let you guys know on Instagram a couple of days before who I'm gonna have as the next guest. And let me know in the comments, how'd I do? Give me some advice, things I could do better, things I did well. And who you guys want to see on the show next. As always, like I did with Cam, I'll let you guys know on the Instagram a couple of days before. So make sure to follow my Instagram, and I'll give you guys the opportunity to submit some questions that you guys have for whatever player I'm going to have on. And it's probably enough yapping from me. I love you guys. I don't know if I'm going to post another video before the holidays, before Christmas. If I'm not, Merry Christmas to all of you guys. I hope you guys get to spend some time with your families. And yeah, follow the Instagram. Stay tuned. Let's go. Cross over to the moon, baby.